Economic development is not something that's always felt directly. The impact of economic development is often a ripple effect. In 2017, it was kind of a unique situation. We had a vacancy in the directorship of the Chamber, and it was really an opportunity for Powell Economic Partnership and the Chamber to go out to the community and just gather a little feedback and say, hey, how's it going? How are we doing? How do you prioritize economic and community development was essentially the question. And the community came back and gave us an answer last winter and said, you know, business development's really important, and that's certainly a priority of the work that PEP is doing, and also some duplication there in the Chamber as well. And we were running into that too, that who should do downtown and Main Street, for example. So with the community feedback, business development was important. The other thing that the community spoke to was really around communications and marketing and promoting the community. And that was both internally within the community around our awesome events that we have, and then also externally to visitors. So just really prioritizing the visitor center as well.
It's been a wonderful collaboration with the Visitor Center and the Chamber. And when we do Homesteader Days, we are looking at, you know, spreading out our advertising and getting. Park County Travel Council has been wonderful, and the assistance that we're getting from them and from the Visitor Center has been great, because it's very collaborative, sharing of ideas, and so much support. I mean, we're right next door, and this event, the Homesteader Days especially, has been growing and growing every year, and it gains more traction, and it gets more interest further outside of the community, and that's what we're trying to do every year. And now that you guys are here, it's like I have greater visions and greater hope that it is going to grow even further.
The PEP board and the Chamber board got together and talked about this. We didn't know how it was going to look initially, but in the end, we thought that we could be more efficient and really streamline efforts for Powell with a combined organization with one director and one governing board.
The city being kind of one of the primary funders of economic development, it's one of those questions you get asked when you're running for office quite a bit. What are you going to do for economic development? And PEP was certainly formed and operating as quite a strong organization. The Chamber had a lengthy history of running and creating good things in Powell. And we just saw that the merger of the two would, one, financially be a little easier to fund one whole organization, but also get that communication going between those two organizations and between the community.
So with the incorporation of the Visitor Center and the Chamber into PEP all under one umbrella, I think it's really challenging, because as PEP we've been focused on economic development, which is new business, but also an extreme focus on business retention and expansion. So bringing in the Chamber, which is business related, and the Visitor Center, it really brings all of them together, because economic development, you need a strong community, you need a strong presence, you need Powell to sell itself. And so having them under one umbrella, it makes sense, and it helps the organization and really the community move forward in one cohesive manner.
We're looking at now ways in which that we can use economic development for an advantage for Main Street, and we can use parts of Main Street that we can use for economic development. And all of the players now do understand what all sides of the equation are, and it's not necessarily an issue anymore of one side having to get communication from the other side to be able to figure out what the left shoe is doing with the right shoe. We're all running together now, which makes a whole lot more sense. And it's honestly, from a financial standpoint too, it makes a lot more sense to consolidate into one organization that has a common theme and a common goal for the same purpose, which is to keep vitality in the town of Powell.
Economic development is all about setting the stage in order to create wealth and improve the quality of life for all. And so much of that work is done behind the scenes by local economic development organizations like PEP that are there day in and day out on the ground putting the pieces and players together. And those organizations are key partners in the work throughout the state. They work locally with a variety of businesses and local partners on a variety of levels, including community colleges, K-12 education, workforce services, and others, in order to grow economic viability and growth in their areas. And they are truly liaisons between those entities and the Wyoming Business Council. And it is through them and with them that we are able to increase Wyoming's prosperity.
I was introduced to Christine through Forward Cody, and Forward Cody got us in touch with PEP up here in Powell, and from there that kind of took us to the Powell Airport, where I'd never seen it before. We were focusing on Cody and setting up manufacturing at Cody, but once via PEP we got a chance to look at Powell Municipal Airport, and from there we kind of knew, okay, this is the airport that we can do our work at. And so that's really how Christine affected getting us involved in Powell community up here and the Powell Municipal Airport. And the folks, of course, she introduced us to, and whether it was city council members or the mayor, or airport managers and things like that, where most people were kind of very positive towards getting a new business established and getting it established at Powell Municipal Airport.
I think knowing that there is a big support system for entrepreneurs really helped, because sometimes it's easy to think that you are totally alone when you are doing a business. And I don't have any partners on it, but I still feel like I have people that help and are building this with me, and that really makes me feel confident in starting a business.
PEP's responded to small business challenges, including healthcare, in a very proactive way. For us, what started as a small conversation about what we're doing and why, kind of very, very quickly led to a much bigger, broader conversation on healthcare issues in the community that was facilitated by PEP.
Wyoming's economy is built of really, really small business. If you have 50 employees, you're doing pretty good here in the state. So to provide insurance for your employees, like myself, I have 14 employees. It is a struggle, a real, true struggle to help your employees work through that. So PEP, well, let me back up. So Endow recognized this, and of course, as is the whole entire nation trying to figure this out. Endow said, okay, let's build small subcommittees. One of them is the committee that I'm on, and we're tackling healthcare. And unbeknownst to me at the time, PEP, Christine was putting together a healthcare summit, I want to call it. And it was putting together, and it was beautifully done. I went as an Endow council member to see, is this something that we can use? Is there some tidbit I can get out of this? And it was phenomenal. I got more than a bunch of tidbits for that, and a bunch of tidbits for my own business. Christine put together a business plus how they were dealing with healthcare. So you got to deal with a healthcare, not a provider, well, not in a traditional sense, but a healthcare insurance provider, and then the business that was using that insurance. For instance, the Chamber of Commerce, if you're a chamber member, there is a endowment that they use for healthcare. If you're a chamber member, you can use this, you can be part of this. Or there's some unique healthcare provider options here in Powell that is 307 Health, where it's not insurance, but it's direct care provider. So they had that organization talk about what they provide, and then a business that uses that to combat some of the healthcare problems. Or they had an accounting firm there that talked about health savings plans, all the different options for a business to help their employees. It was unbelievable conversations. It had a lot of community involvement. The last thing she did was allowed the audience to communicate with the businesses and the health insurance providers. And I got a ton of information out of that. It was really, really well done. And I know that they're planning on another one for the agricultural industries, and that's coming up, and I'm excited to see what comes out of that.
I love economic development, but more importantly, I love Powell. I think the community is awesome having grown up here, and I think the leadership in the past has done an incredible job at moving our community forward in a responsible way that matches us. And I think that's incredible. I just see so much potential to continue the progress. And so what I love about economic development is I really get to make a difference, make an impact.